My mic is open. Oh, hey, my mic is open. I know, right? Anyway, hey there, everybody in the chat. It's Friday. We'll get this show started in just a second. Get into this chat room. Marshall's there already. You're not going to beat him this week. Malone Hasko is there. KB Bells, 24. Let's get some more people in the chat. We got a lot to discuss today. It's coming up in just a minute, right here on Finally Friday. Finally Friday is being brought to you this week by Major Spoilers VIP and Patreon members from around the world. You can show your support and get in on a bunch of bonus content. You point your browser to patreon.com/Major Spoilers. Well, hello, everyone. It's Friday the 13th. It's been a heck of a week, but it is finally Friday. So glad that you're all here with me. And if you follow me on Twitter at Major Spoilers, you know that this week's guest is one Ashley Victoria Robinson. But before I bring her in, what if I told you finally the 13th doesn't have to be a bad luck day? What if I told you we have a second guest here too? Please welcome to the show Ashley Victoria Robinson and Jason Inman. What's going on, guys?
Hi.
You have a Jason here on Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Also, I was born on a Friday.
Were you born on a Friday, really?
I was born on a Friday, yeah.
I'd have to go back and figure out what day I was born on.
I was like 10 days away from a 13th.
So now everyone can
There you
go
go.
back in time and figure out what year you were born in.
Can they?
Well, there's only so many June 3rds that'll happen on a Friday.
I don't care.
Yeah, Friday the 13th, instead of doing the cha-cha, wah, ah, 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 we should be saying wah, 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 wah,
Yeah.
wah.
Truly.
So you are, you guys are in Hollywood, so this is really interesting. This has been a heck of a week, especially with the COVID-19 outbreak. And so you guys are kind of, everything's kind of shut down this week for you, right?
Yeah, everyone who's not working in a service type job is in a position where they're being told to work from home. I know a bunch of people who are sort of at various levels are being told to work without pay. And I know that people above certain lines are being told to work with pay. And all these productions have shut down. All casting has shut down. People are trying to find digital alternatives. Like everything here from our perspective is sort of falling apart.
Yeah, the town is kind of going dark for the next 2 weeks. Now, like my situation, like the reason why I'm here is because my office just decided yesterday to be like, everybody should just work from home until we figure this all out.
I mean, that's not such a bad thing.
Yeah.
I worked from home for 5 years, right? Doing Major Spoilers from home. And for those of you that do have to work from home, let me give you 2 really good important tips to work from home. Number 1, if your job is 9 to 5, work 9 to 5. Don't take a nap in the afternoon and say, I'll get to it in the, at the nighttime, and then end up working at night, right? So work 9 to 5, take your lunch break, take your regular breaks like you would if you were at your regular job. And number 2, don't open your MFC tab on your browser while you're in that 9 to 5 position. It's just one of those things. And for people who know what MFC is, there you go. I wouldn't know what it is. I just see those initials pop up every once in a while. So there you go. So those are my tips for working from home. But how is it, Jason?
Make sure you put on pants.
Put on
It's
pants.
so
I mean,
easy
that's,
just to
a
like
lot of
work from home in pajamas, but like if you put on pants, it makes you feel like, oh, I woke up.
Yep, exactly. Some people say that a lot. Dress like your regular job. So how has it been working from home so far? Or did you just get sent home today?
Today was my first day working from home,
Okay.
so it was pretty easy. We just had a conference call. We just got off the conference call. So to be honest with you, it's funny. So I worked from home for about 5 years before I got into working for CBS and working for TV for the last 2 years.
Right.
And I was like, oh, thank God I work from home. I hate working in an office. I've now flipped. It back to where I like going to an office. Like I like having this like this is workspace and this is at home hang out with Ashley and cat space.
Yeah, it's your safe space, right? It's the place where you can go and unwind and relax. So that's really good.
Your commute has gone down pretty significantly.
Yes. The worst thing is the commute. The commute sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. So I got this question because this is how this week has felt. Because a lot of things have happened at the university where I teach at, is that there was a Star Trek episode. I'm trying to think of the name of this Star Trek episode. But I distinctly remember that they were trying to go faster than warp 10. And there's a scene where they're trying to push the overthrusters, and the whole ship is just shaking around, and everyone's like, we're never going to do this, everything is going to break and fall apart. And then all of a sudden they hit warp 10, and everything is smooth as glass.
Steven, this is how much of a nerd I am. I can tell you exactly the name of that episode. It's Threshold.
Okay.
It's in Star Trek Voyager Season 2. And the thing you're talking about is they're pushing past the threshold because they're trying to get to warp 10 because
the fastest way to get back from the Delta Quadrant.
Yeah, because Voyager is lost and they want to get home, but then they quickly find out that once you go past the threshold, you're at all places in the universe at once. And then for some reason that turns you into a lizard person, and then Janeway gets turned into a slug.
Well, we had to keep the show going for 5 more seasons.
It's kind of universally considered to be the worst Star Trek episode of all time.
Worse than the one with Beverly's ancestors?
Oh, the one where she has sex with the ghost?
Yeah.
Yes.
She doesn't have sex with
Actually,
him.
it's funny. The 2 episodes that hold this title are Threshold from Voyager and Spock's Brain from the original series.
Well, Spock's Brain is not that.
Spock's Brain is a bad one?
Yeah. Spock's Brain is a bad one.
Okay. All right. That's fine. It's good that I barely remember.
Yeah.
It's good that I barely remember any of the Voyager episodes except for the worst one of all time. So there you go. You go.
Voyager.
They made an action figure from that episode.
I'm sure they did.
So speaking of shut down, so really everything is shut down, not just in Hollywood, but production stopped on Shang-Chi, the movie. Mm-hmm. Today, the Warner Brothers CW DC shows all shut down production. Flash has suspended production as of today.
Yeah, we have a friend who's in Vancouver working on a Flash episode. So
flying back today.
Hope that works out for him.
Yeah, and the weird thing is, I think was Flash suspended indefinitely, or is it 2 weeks for them? You guys remember?
Most of them I've heard are postponed indefinitely. So some of them are saying indefinitely, but most of them are saying like 2 weeks. Like I just saw right as we were starting, Netflix just emailed that all of its productions have been shut down indefinitely.
I think they're hoping that if everyone commits to 2 weeks, we could stem the tide a little bit.
And we can maybe go back to
on the curve,
But then if they say indefinitely, then if they come back and say it's actually going to be 2 more weeks, or it's going to be 6 months, then no one can be mad because they said, well, indefinitely kind of blankets all of that.
And then also Los Angeles, all Los Angeles public schools have.
I saw that too.
Well. Yeah.
Fortunately, our school district has not made a decision on that, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed for a couple of reasons.
Okay.
Can you don't want to hear the little scampering of feet upstairs?
I mean, yes, it would mean that I would have to be home all day with the kids, and I would have to find learning activities and do homeschooling while doing 2 other jobs at the same time. So that would be very, very stressful. But the thing that I've been hoping for and bragging for years now is for the boy to get on the middle school soccer team so we can stop going to traveling tournaments that would eat up entire weekends and cost hundreds of thousands of dollars each season. And he did. He got on the soccer team at the middle school. He's very impressed. We do have to wait until the first game or a couple of days before the first game to find out if he's going to be A team or B team and if he's going to start or not start. My guess is he's going to be A team and he's going to start. So I really need the school year to continue so that he can play soccer, so that he can position himself to be ready for pro in 8 years, because Major Spoilers doesn't make a whole lot of money, and he's going to have to in order to keep the lights on.
Steven, I have the perfect backup plan for you if they cancel school.
Okay,
you need to put both of the sidekicks on this Twitch channel 24 hours a day.
You're playing video games.
Yeah, playing
reviewing My Hero Academia.
Playing all the Minecraft. Tune in.
I have offered to both of them if they want to sit in when I do the game streams on Saturdays. I've even told the boys, like, if you want, because he's close enough to 13, you could do this unsupervised if you want. I don't care. But he's like, nah, I don't want to do it. And it's like,
what was the movie that he reviewed? Was it Jurassic World? A few years ago on the podcast.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
That remains one of my favorite episodes. And you said, he said he really liked it. And you were like, well, what did you like about it? He's like, I really liked it.
Yeah.
It was
that's probably what it would be. Although the youngest, he, I think, has a potential carear in entertainment. And I'm going to have him talk to both of you and get him straightened out.
Ship him out to us for the summer.
that is a threat. That is a pox on you, a curse on you, Ashley, if you want to take him for the entire summer. Because 2 weeks later, you would be like, no, get him out of here.
all of the next generation of my family are about 13, 14, and I'm like, when is that first phone call gonna come?
Yeah. Can he come out? He's a talker. He has some good ideas. He's very creative. So he might have
We have a closet we can put him
career in writing, podcasting, acting, something like that. So we'll see how that goes. But speaking of poxes and curses, it is Friday the 13th, as we said at the top of the show, and it's a good day to have both of you here on the show. I guess, Ashley, what are some good horror movies that people might want to check out on Friday the 13th? People are way down for like slasher flicks and that kind of stuff on this Friday.
Yeah, I've seen people ironically say that you go watch all the pandemic type movies, and I don't think that's the way to go.
Fun fact, I did see Netflix. I don't know whether it was on Netflix or whatever, but Netflix made it a promoted item, Outbreak.
Yeah, it's
today.
new. That's
wow.
why.
I'm sorry.
I would recommend that people go, and if you've never seen Friday the 13th from 1980, go check that out. This is the national holiday. Go see what Jason is all about. There's like 1,000 other ones. Jason Takes Manhattan has Kelly Hu in it, Lady Deathstrike, so that's fun.
Yeah.
I'm always really recommending that people check out The Witch. Anna Taylor-Joy is having a real moment right now in Emma, and The Witch, I think, is the greatest horror movie.
I have not watched that yet, and I need to.
Midsommar is pretty good.
Midsommar,
now, that one is really good. Now, I don't know if I watched it before you, Ashley, or if we both watched it on the same weekend or what, but holy cow, that movie is intense.
If I may add one to this list, and it also honors an actor that we lost this week. The Exorcist is my favorite horror movie of all time, starring Max von Sydow.
Yeah,
that one is good. That often is claimed to be one of the scariest scenes in all of horror movies, where she comes down the stairs backwards with her head twisted around and starts crawling up the wall, and it freaks people out, especially when they did that special edition, special release, and people are like, that is the scariest scene that you see when she's doing those kinds of things.
Yeah, because at the time, that was real. That was a real contortionist that did that.
Yeah. Well, practical effects.
Yeah.
We always say it, the three of us always say, you got to start with practical. It works the best.
Yep.
Also, there's a lot of cool horror movies that have come out in the last few years. So if people slept on Get Out, Us, or A Quiet Place, they're all streaming.
Or Ready or Not.
Ready or Not. I don't know if I'd call Ready or Not a horror movie.
Yeah, it's pretty close. I would say it's a horror movie.
That's really good. And then The Quiet Place's less interesting cousin Bird Box is also on Netflix.
Yeah.
We're in this cool golden age of horror right now, at least in my opinion, and for what I like from horror. Like, thank God we've moved past Hostel. Thank you, Eli Roth. Please stay wherever it is that we've hidden you. So I think if people want to take this opportunity, because let's face it, streaming services are in the perfect position right now to make lots of views and lots of money. Let's take advantage of that.
Yeah. Now, I did, on the last couple of weeks, Ashley, that you and I have been talking about this. I've been talking about, there needs to be a company that steps up and pulls all these movies and all these things and puts them together for a limited run package on like iTunes or something. Then I saw a really long thread that made sense of somebody who was like, oh, that is the worst idea ever. Apparently, I'm not the only one that has been saying that. But then they ran through, how this potentially ruins the ability for any of these other small movies to get into film festivals if they've been streamed or in other places. It also limits their ability to get into movie theaters. It also limits their ability to win awards because they'd be streaming first before they were in a theater option. So they made a lot of good points, but still, I think we want entertainment. And Ashley, it sounds like you gave us a long list of that stuff.
It's funny, Stephen, you are a big proponent on many years of the Major Spoilers podcast about this theory of you would pay more money if you could watch a in-theater movie right now at home. Yeah. I have started seeing film and TV people on Twitter, and I've seen a couple articles about it in legitimate film websites about, all these movies are being delayed. I've seen some articles and some opinion pieces being like, well, which one of these movie companies will say, screw it, we're not going to delay our movie. It's on digital now.
Disney, just give me New Mutants. It's all I want.
I know, right? Because is New Mutants
blow up?
Did New Mutants get bumped?
Yeah.
Did it get bumped? Okay, it got bumped. Mulan has been bumped. Surprisingly, Bloodshot is opening this weekend.
Yeah, right.
Well,
it made 1.4 million last night. I'll be interested to see how it goes through the rest of the weekend. Theaters are now saying, hey, we are cutting our maximum occupancy in the theaters by 50%. So if you've got a 500-seat theater, they're only going to sell 250 tickets. Unfortunately, everybody with the selecta seats are all going to select those same center rows. So it's all going to be the outside that's empty, and everyone's still going to be clustered.
I heard AMC is going to do a thing where they won't let anybody sit by each other.
Oh, that'll be
Which is
interesting.
so funny
Yeah.
Good luck for
because
first dates.
Yeah.
it used to be this thing where they were like, you have to sit next to the person. You
Yeah.
can't leave one seat in between you.
Yeah.
And now
Yeah,
we
yeah,
finally get what we want and we're not going to the movie
Yeah,
theater.
Furious 9 was pushed to next year.
Yeah, I
The
saw that
Hunt-
all the way
Hunt
to next
is
year.
opening
Yeah.
though.
The rumor I've heard, the hubbub around LA right now, is that everybody is kind of waiting on Black Widow,
Mm-hmm.
and that
Right.
yeah, because they think that if Disney decides to postpone Black Widow, they think we might see a mass shutdown of movie theaters.
Yeah,
Because-
this is something
Yeah.
that I was saying the other day is that I'm going to bet that there's $1 trillion or more lost across the board in businesses in this year. And the hardest hits is going to be, number one, the movie theaters. And then I think we're going to see a lot of, not whining, but we're going to see a lot of movie theaters or chains wringing their hands saying, oh, we had to push all our big releases back. We are going to suffer major losses this year. Disney, I think, is, even though they've grown to be the biggest, they're the ones that can suffer the greatest fault, because not only are they pushed Mulan and some of their other movies back, the New Mutants, but they also shut down the theme parks there in California.
Yeah.
Wait,
starting
it's
today,
open
too.
today.
Is-
Disneyland opened today. They were closed yesterday. They opened
Oh,
today.
closed
And
yesterday.
And apparently there was today is the last day for Disneyland, and apparently there was a giant line out the gate this morning.
I mean,
Wow.
I love the
Gotta
Haunted
get-
Mansion as much as every other basic white girl, but like, come on.
They got to get on. Got to get on that.
It is
It's a small
If they're
world one
shutting
more
down,
time.
though, I have to say, Disney, if you are going to shut down Disneyland, this is the time to do your construction on the rides, because those
Yeah,
rides
it
are
is.
always shut down for upgrades.
Oh, fair
This
point.
would be the
Yep.
perfect time
No.
to do like
Yep.
repairs and rebuilding.
I think I saw Knott's Berry Farm was also closing down, and something else down there south of
Six Flags, maybe?
Six Flags. Maybe that's what it was. Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty crazy, all the things that are shutting down, and that's why swinging back around to what we are. So a couple of things we got to loop around eventually.
Yeah, I took
We're
us
gonna
on a
do a
mini
mini
loop.
loop right now. No. So you had mentioned that I've been talking for years about being able to watch those first run movies. There is actually a service available now for people to watch first run movies in their home. But it's like $30,000 a year, and it's like $40 to watch a movie. So this is really for the
Ivan
wealthy
Reitman,
people who
Steven
don't want to go
Spielberg.
to a movie theater and rub
Yeah.
elbows with the hoi polloi, right?
But
with the
there-
normies.
There is an
Yeah.
opportunity here. There is an opportunity here for one of these companies to like recoup their losses, though, because again, like
Yeah.
I think especially like a week from now, I think everybody will be stir crazy, and they'll like again. Can you imagine if Disney were like, okay, we're gonna drop New Mutants on digital. It's $19.99.
Great.
I do
Mm-mm.
think they would sell like 1 million copies of it.
Yeah.
I think it should be. I think that needs to be a higher number, because here's
Sure,
where you have to offset your costs, right? I've got a family of 4. If we go to the theater together, now granted,
Yeah.
we're in a weird
Fair.
situation that just the movie tickets alone are $5 for us because we're in the middle of nowhere, Kansas, right? But for most places, that would be a $40 or $50 expense. So I think if they're going to do that, the price should be $40 for 48 hours, right? $40 for 48 hours is your ticket price, and that offsets the ticket price. And if these movie theaters wanted to be nice, like we saw Mark Cuban announce this week with the shutdown of the Dallas Mavericks, I think that's who his team is. He said he's going to continue to pay all the hourly employees during the entirety of the shutdown so that they're not out of money. So if the movie studios really, really, really wanted to be generous to the movie theaters, they would calculate, okay, based on past history, here's how much you would have made with these movies. We're still charging $40, whatever the theater split
Gonna
is.
give you a
First
cut.
week, you guys
Yeah.
get nothing. Second week, you get 75%, or we take 75%, and then they give the rest of that to the theaters to keep them going. That would be the generous thing to do. I don't think they'll do it.
No,
But
I'll
would
be
definitely.
honest with you. I would pay that $40. I would.
I would
for
pay that
New
$40 too
Yeah.
for 48 hours. That to me is a reasonable price.
I mean,
for
that's
that.
almost
And
what we pay to go to the movies anyway.
Well, and also it's
Yeah.
the thing of like right now, the most important thing about right now, and it's hard not to make. And I'm sorry, I feel like I'm the one making Finally Friday a downer.
No.
But in this kind of atmosphere, I think like even though that movie would cost $19.99 on iTunes, like paying $40 is like no, we're supporting the whole industry to
The
keep
economy,
to
yeah.
keep it alive.
Mhm.
Yeah.
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 And so, and the reason why you put it at that 48 hours is it does give you 2 days to watch it as much as you want, which is fine. But then after that, if you want to watch it again, there's another $40. And then after what it would normally be its run, you take it down from the service completely, right? You take it off of iTunes or wherever you're streaming it, Disney Plus, wherever. And then when it comes for regular release, then you put it up again for regular release.
At all
And
the
I know
normal
that sounds
prices,
like, I know in this day and age, that sounds like a horrible capitalistic thing for me to say, to make people pay multiple times for the movie if they want to own it or rent it or whatever. But I mean, that is a
Same as
solution
movie theater.
Yeah.
yeah, that's a solution that nobody is. I mean, I'm glad people are talking about it, but yeah, I've been talking about this for 10 years. So there you go. So let's talk about another downer. So I mentioned at the very start of the show about Star Trek, the episode where everything's shaking. So I kind of thought at some point, there are over 200 universities across the country now that have moved online to finish their semesters and have basically said, we're going to shut down. And I kind of felt that once some cases started to show up here in Kansas, that we might be one of those situations where things were going to shut down. So by Tuesday afternoon this week, I was kind of getting a sense. You know how you kind of get a tingle in the atmosphere, the spirit of the times or whatever. I'm like, oh man, are my classes ready to go online? And sure enough, the next morning, the chair came up to me and she goes, okay, most of your classes, the 4 classes you teach, 3 of them could be online easily, right? And I'm like, yeah, one of them's already online. The other one's just a lecture class. That's no problem. Transition it online. The other one, I've got half the videos already on my YouTube channel, so that's online. The hardest one is the actual production class where students are supposed to go and shoot stuff. It's like, how are we going to give them equipment? What are we going to do? So we spent basically half a day on Wednesday in meetings figuring how can we get equipment to students so they could take it home, because if the university's closed, they're not going to be able to do stuff, and then transition that course online. And then Wednesday afternoon, Thursday morning, kids are asking, is this school going to shut down? Is school going to shut down? It's like, not yet. Business as usual. And as I'm typing a letter to the students in the advanced video production class to say, okay, if the university shuts down, here's how this is the rest of the semester is going to go. We're going to check you out equipment. We're going to do all these kinds of things. And as soon as I hit that send button, they announced that our university is going to go officially all on-campus classes to online starting on the 23rd. Next week is the last week before spring break, so there's that. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, that's good for universities to go online. Our university has been online for over, I want to say 15, 20 years now almost.
Yeah.
So we're an expert at delivering classes at a distance. And I know a lot of people are like, okay, well, that's fine. But there are so many questions that pop up, and I've already had to deal with some very freaked out students because, number one, you need to, if you're living in the dorms, you have to be off campus before the 23rd. So all these kids living in the dorms, they're expected to go home. Well,
what about foreign students?
Okay, so they are making exceptions for people who can't leave, including, and this was my question, what about students who are technically homeless without having a dorm or a residence hall that they stay in? What happens to them? What are we doing? And so they fortunately said, okay, we are making exceptions for people who can literally not go anywhere. International students, people that would fit into that homeless category, which means, okay, now we have to keep support staff on campus to make sure that they have dining foods and that the facilities are being clean, all that kind of stuff. And so that's one big headache for a lot of students. I had one student freaking out because she was like, what am I going to do? I got to be out, and I don't want to have to drag all my stuff home to Colorado only to bring it back in 6 weeks or 3 months because I'm moving into an apartment for the summer. And it's just like, fortunately, I understand maybe U-Haul has said that they are working to try and get people who are displaced this way, students, 30 days of free storage, which I think is a really cool deal. But then I do have international students that are working on projects. And international students is a weird situation, and I don't know all of the rules when it comes to international students, but I do know.
So it depends on the country they come from, because I'm in a situation where I'm in a production that's supposed to be going to a festival in the UK, and I don't want to be traveling because right now they're letting citizens back, but I'm not a citizen yet. So there's a chance that if these foreign students go home, they might not be allowed back if the travel ban changes.
When classes resume.
Yeah. Exactly. So number one, I've had to tell all the international students, go talk to the international student services because they're going to be answering these questions. But I have one student who's a graduate student. He's from China. And he only has the one class to finish, which is his actual production class where he has to shoot a movie. I can't give him equipment to take home if he has to go home. And I told him basically he's falling behind, or this situation is going to make it impossible for him to finish his one course. So he's going to have to get an incomplete in the course, which means in order for him to graduate, it is the last class he has to take, which means he has to stick around for at least another semester in order to complete the work, which means he's not a full-time student, which may disqualify him on his residency. He's not going to be able to receive any kind of financial aid, any of these kinds of things. And I really honestly feel like that is the tip of the iceberg of the types of problems that universities suddenly telling students to just, go home. It's no big deal. Take it online. You're all computer nerds. And it's really bigger than that. And it looks like most schools are working these situations out. But I mean, man, it's going to be an interesting couple of weeks for higher education across the country, maybe even the world, because we know that Germany and France and Italy and other universities in Europe have all shut down. Schools have shut down. The kids in China were really smart because they spammed the homework app so that it got taken off the app store in China so that they don't have to do homework. So it's crazy times. It is really crazy. And so that's my downer, is like, I knew this was coming this week, and I could just feel this bottled up energy. So the Voyager is shaking. And then all of a sudden, 2:00 yesterday hits when they dropped that, and it just kind of glassed out. And then
now
it was
we're all
like,
lizard people.
Yeah,
well,
now
we're all lizard people.
That is indeed. We're all sheeple.
We went to the grocery store this morning, and that was how it felt. Even and it wasn't completely cleared out, and there were a lot of people, but it wasn't insane. But like everyone is just vibrating at like a higher frequency right now.
But it was like the most full I've ever seen our grocery store parking lot.
Yeah.
Ever.
How empty were your shelves?
Certain items were gone, so a lot of all the hand sanitizer and the toilet paper was gone. I keep telling people to go on Amazon and buy a bidet. You'll save lots of money on toilet paper.
And I bet it's not sold out.
Probably not. I got the last 3 cans of chicken noodle soup. Felt very good about that.
Canned goods were looking pretty spare.
Yeah.
And then the meat aisle, eggs were like almost gone.
Yeah.
And then the meat aisle was pretty low. Like I bet you by the end of today, all the meat in that store is gone.
The fish was still pretty good though.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. It wasn't as crazy as some of the pictures I've seen.
I'm looking at a $48 bidet. It will not be in stock again until March 19th. So maybe people are starting to get the clue.
And you hold out 6 days?
Yeah.
Here's a $313 bidet. It's in stock right now. So I guess based on price, based on how clean people think they want their bum, the price will fluctuate. So
whether or
there
not
you
they
go.
want heated water.
That's right.
Now, it's really weird that, and this is the thing that makes me laugh is, and I took a picture last Sunday of our Walmart, and like most of the toilet paper was gone. It's gone today. But just on the other side of the aisle is all the hand towels, the paper towels, and the tissues are all there. And it's just like...
So when we were at the grocery store, you know how they have like a soup and salad bar?
Yeah.
I watched a gentleman at the soup and salad bar open the little drawer underneath, take out an industrial wrapped thing of napkins, close it, rip it open, and take a whole stack of like 100 napkins.
He should have taken the whole thing.
Shove it in his bag.
Yeah.
And I was like,
from the deli.
You're crazy. Two, if you're gonna steal the whole thing.
Yeah, just take the whole thing, man.
It was insane.
At that point, nobody stopped.
Man.
Yeah.
So
what people are choosing to panic about is interesting.
I'm curious because it looks like, going back into your guys' situation in Hollywood, it looks like a lot of the agencies have also closed their doors. Did I see CCA shut down? And
WJ shut down.
Are people... And again, I'm not going to speak for my wife, and there's certain things I can say and can't say, but have people actually listened to like some of the health professionals? And you two, well, Jason, I know you were sick with the flu a couple of weeks ago, but not the bad stuff.
Although, fun fact, everybody at my work asked me this week. They were like, "Did you maybe have COVID-19?" And I was like, "No," because I didn't have any of the symptoms, guys. No,
it was just a flu.
Did you see how runny my nose was?
Yeah. So I'm wondering, you are both healthy and young.
Yeah.
So even if you caught it, very low risk of fatality or anything like that. My kids, I've had to tell them multiple times, look, the chances of you catching it slim because you're young. Even if you had it, you bounce right back. Mom and dad fine. Grandparents, those are the ones we have to watch for. And the reason why we're shutting these places down is so that we don't spread infection to the older or elderly. And again, that goes with vectors and how many people you have contact with in a day. But Have anyone in your spheres of influence said, okay, you don't need to wear the masks unless you're sick. You don't need to hoard toilet paper. Have people just said, hello, McFly in your areas?
I would say most of the people that we know, like friends and colleagues, are being pretty reasonable about it. I know a handful of people who are going the opposite way and are not taking any preventative measures.
Yeah.
I'm not concerned about catching
like a microphone. Keep touching my face.
Yeah, but I'm still. There's no harm in washing your hands. There's no harm in buying a little bit more food.
Yeah.
There's no harm in not going out to the cinema. So but I would say a lot of people that I see online don't seem to be reading or thinking critically about it.
I mean, we do have a friend that literally tweeted this morning about how he was like, I'm going to get on a flight to Jamaica.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be so cheap. And I was like,
yes.
and you're like, yeah, you could. But also, again, you're just increasing your odds of definitely getting this thing.
Yeah.
Well, nobody else on the flight with him, so he's okay.
Yeah,
Good luck coming back though.
Yeah, I just imagine all the stuff you're touching in that airport though.
So you did say, Ashley, one thing that was really important. A reasonable amount, right?
Yes.
I don't know why. I mean, inside the Schleicher household, we get these things. I think they're from Amazon, but they're these huge rolls of toilet paper, like the kind you would find in a commercial restroom. but they're Charmin toilet paper, right? So it's nice and soft. It's just a huge giant roll. Each one is supposed to last you a month. So we've got a 3-month supply of just that. But I know in the downstairs bathroom, we don't have the holder for that. So, I went to the store the other day and I was like, you know what? A 4-roll pack is all I need. I will pick a 4-roll pack. I didn't run down the store. I also picked up some other dry goods. Dry goods are always a good thing to have. But I didn't run down the aisle and just grab all the beans off the shelf and throw them into my thing. One bag of beans, one bag of actually 2 bags of black beans, one bag of pinto beans, one bag of rice, a couple of cans of soup. Yep. Yeah, pasta, some, that kind of stuff is very reasonable. In fact, it fit all into the little cart, the hand cart that I was touching and licking all up and down the shelves. But, you don't have to buy all the bread. You don't have to buy all the stuff.
We spent less than $100 on the things that we stocked up on. And some of it was stuff that we just kind of needed. Like we didn't have milk, so we bought more milk. I do know someone who said that they went out and purchased $500 worth of goods, and I think that's a little extreme.
Yeah, the amount that we bought will easily cover us for over 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Easily.
And but then also realistically, that's stuff that you two should have anyway because you're in an earthquake zone. That's disaster preparedness 101 stuff right there. So
or it's stuff that we'll eat eventually.
Yeah.
So we didn't buy it and we'll never use it.
No, I was thinking about the reason why I was like, well, we should probably go out today is just because I think the grocery stores are just going to get even more and more emptier because I think people will keep panicking. But also I don't know. Again, they just announced the national emergency. There is a and again, I'm the weird person at work where I'm always like, I always have what is the doomsday scenario,
right?
In my head, and sometimes I freak out my workers, but I'm always like, I don't know. They could just cancel our TV show, and they're like, they won't do that, and I'm like, they could. There's a 1%
they really
chance.
could. I mean,
so with
that's what I was. Yeah, go ahead.
With this, I was like, we should probably go get some groceries because there's a 1% chance that they could be like, all grocery stores closed.
Yeah, or that we could get a curfew or something.
Yeah.
Also, if people, Stephen tweeted out on Major Spoilers on Twitter to be very kind to anyone who's working in the healthcare industry. Also, I would encourage people, if you are going to go to a grocery store or a Costco and stock up, be really kind and generous with the workers there.
Yeah.
They're putting up with a lot. They're not, I worked in a grocery store. It's not good pay. And we're all in it together. So if you bump into someone, just say you're sorry, and then we'll all make it out the other end.
Yeah, there's no reason to fight each other over this mystical can of beans.
Yeah, or toilet paper.
Just give it to the other person. Just give it to them.
Yeah. So here's some comments from our chat. The J. Michael T says, my daughter teaches in a low-income district where internet access and technology are an issue. So the teachers have spent all day creating binders with coursework for the students so they don't fall behind while the schools are closed until April 3rd. That's good that some schools are closing for, 2 or 3 weeks.
Teachers need to be paid more.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's see. Vlaguli says, freaking ground beef is sold out. Scald's Tale says, it's insane here in Torrance. We just are trying to get coffee and we parked a block away and walked to the store.
Oh, that's not
he
that
did
far
say
away.
he's stocked up on coffee.
Yeah.
Amazon is going to be so busy for the next month, which does remind me, I was
There's
thinking.
workers at Amazon who have COVID and have for weeks now.
That's okay. You don't have to worry about stuff when it's shipped. It only stays about, don't get the overnight delivery. Just get the 3 or more day delivery. But
goes away in
here's the
days.
thing that I was thinking. This could be something that is, maybe people don't have to make money off of this, but maybe it's a good neighborly thing to do. There are these services. It's like Your Neighborhood or Nextdoor.com or whatever these websites are. So it connects you to people in your neighborhood. Yep. So let's just say the person who lives next door to me, they come down with a virus and they can't go out. They've self-quarantined in the house and they need food. Well, what would be a great thing would be for someone in your neighborhood to say, I will volunteer as long as I am healthy. Mm-hmm. You tell me what you need. You put the money in my PayPal, or you go and order it onto Walmart.com or wherever, and I will go and pick it up for you.
And leave it on your doorstep.
And then I will leave it on your doorstep. And, I don't know what's going on. I mean, Amazon, UPS probably is not going to stop deliveries. They really can't. I mean, they could, but I doubt they will. But, there are going to be people that will be stuck in home, and they may not have a means of getting those kind of supplies that they may need, the toilet paper, the food, the whatever. And you being able to do that service for people, you could make a little side business on that if you wanted to make a little bit of money, but I'm afraid too many people would gouge. But to be a good neighbor, that might just be something you want to do. And I know I'm living in Western Kansas, where everyone's nice all the time, which is a lie. And maybe in the bigger cities, that would be impossible to do.
Everywhere.
But man, it would sure
It's
be
like the
nice
toilet
if people
paper
would.
thing. If you can't afford this $300 bidet that's like super nice and heated and that I just ordered as we were talking, maybe give a roll of toilet paper to your neighbor.
Check in with your people.
Yeah.
Are you gonna miss one roll of toilet paper? No.
Yeah.
No. People are. J. Michael T. also says people are stealing TP at the office where my son-in-law works. And then of course everybody's got allergies right now. I have seasonal allergies right now, and of course that every time you sneeze or cough in public, I felt really bad because I went to the grocery store the other day.
People
and I was like
scattered.
cough, and I just saw people stop and look at me, and it's just like it's just a cough.
Like cockroaches.
Well, it's raining in Los Angeles, but it's been raining for a couple days. It's gonna be raining for about another week.
Well,
and so everyone is congested because there's so much moisture in the air for like the first time.
Well, on the opposite side of that, I did see on Twitter that a excellent clerk at some grocery store yesterday tweeted that they were like, we had this elderly couple come through our line. They bought a lot of food. They were super nice. And and he was like, I made small talk to them. I said, oh, are you really worried about this? And they were like, oh no, we were just confirmed and we're stocking up. And they were like,
oh no,
why did you come to the store?
Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, hopefully with this emergency declaration that has been made today, hopefully this will mean that more tests will be available soon to everybody, and the people can get tested, and we can really see where we stand on this. But I think, everybody, and I'm sure that this video, once it goes up on YouTube, will be demonetized because YouTube has said that, COVID talk is too much of a risky topic, a sensitive topic. So they're demonetizing. Yeah, they're demonetizing any video that talks about the coronavirus.
Look, we all knew the YouTube bubble was going to pop, and it started last year.
So I guess the real
you
question,
guys got out on the right time there, Jason.
Yeah. I guess the real question to answer is, does this virus make you more superstitious?
Yeah.
So let's bring it completely back around. Are you guys superstitious of Friday the 13th? Ashley, you're into some more of those kinds of alternative thoughts, I guess.
I do.
Traditional. I don't know what to call it because I don't want to insult you or anything.
I know.
I like woo-woo stuff. You can call it. It's fine.
Okay. So woo-woo stuff. You're into some of that, and that's fine because I am too, to an extent. Yeah.
I collect my pretty rocks. I don't know if they're going to cure my cancer, but if they do, that's great. I got
that sea salt. I see my big sea salt back there.
Yep, she collects these pretty rocks so that our cat can all hoard them underneath the couch.
Yeah.
I think our cat is really into the woo-woo stuff. I secretly think
he's a witch for sure.
Our GHL intern Brago is secretly a witch.
It's funny. Every time I share a meme that has like anything to do with like anything that's kind of witchy or kind of like yogi or kind of woo-woo, I lose like a handful of followers every single time.
And I do too. I blew my students' minds the other day because we were talking about, and I'm sure Jason, have you read Sight, Sound, and Motion from Zettel? Have you read that book? No. Okay, so that's a really good book for people that are into the film industry because it really kind of breaks down.
Say it again.
And it's Sight, Sound, and Motion
by
Herbert Zettel.
I will.
Zettl. And I don't know if it's kind of expensive in the electronic version because it's used by so many universities and higher ed for their, intro to motion picture theory type classes. But there's a section, the very final chapter is about time and really what he's talking about as he talks about constructs of time and what time is and all these kinds of things. He's really talking about editing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that comes up is the notion of time as nonlinear. We've created time. So really, we're living in all time periods at the same time. And so things that we do in the future could actually be affecting us now, and things in the past are actually affecting us now, which is what people think of with linear. And so then I start talking about that in class and start talking about how this is Eastern philosophy, and Buddhists believe that, the good karma that you do in the future could actually ripple back to where you are now, and so on and so forth. And people just look at me like, what in the heck are you talking about? So I am no stranger to woo-woo stuff, Ashley. So, is there anything that we need to worry about on Friday the 13th? I mean, we just had a new moon the other day and all this other kind of things.
We needed to worry the last 2 weeks because Mercury came out of a retrograde on the 9th. So now everyone's electronics work again. We're in a waxing moon. So all of the energies are dispersing. Friday the 13th in most witchy traditions is lucky. I've always thought 13 was lucky for me because my birthday is on the 26th. So that's double 13.
Oh, nice.
And I love cats.
So you're an 8 number, huh?
Yep. I'm all for it. But
so
if people are nervous about it, I would say find a nice bell and cleanse your aura with it.
I'm gonna go to one of the YouTube channels where they play the tones for your house and stuff, and do that. So there's a study that was published. So here's some things to keep in mind. In 1993, the British Medical Journal did a kind of a test to see if there are more accidents or people end up in the hospital more on Friday the 13th than any other Friday of the year. And even though they found a slight increase in people going to hospitals and getting sick or having accidents on those days, it was not significant enough to say that, yes, people being worried on Friday the 13th or bad things are more often able to happen on Friday the 13th. It's more like a little blip in the noise.
I do know because of satanic panic, they will not allow you to adopt black cats on Friday.
Oh, really? Oh, because they're afraid you're going to go and kill the cats from some crazy ritual
really?
or something.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of crazy. So here's another one. A 2008 study from the Dutch Center said that actually the rate of fire and theft drops on Friday the 13th. So people aren't, having their houses burned down or getting their cars broken into. And they suspect it's because people are more cautious on Friday the 13th. So it ends up having the opposite effect of what you would think it would be. So there are a couple of Friday the 13th facts for you.
Jason had a roll of toilet paper in the back of the car, and I told him to take it out because we didn't want that to be the thing people broke the windshield over.
Wouldn't that be stupid?
It's funny. My friends that work in the medical industry, they've never said anything about Friday the 13th. The time that they always say it gets crazy in the ER is anytime there's a full moon.
Yeah.
Well, there's more
and my wife has
born
noticed
on
that
a
too.
full moon.
Yeah.
Because it's closer to the earth, so there's more gravity.
Yeah, so the werewolves come out in full effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yes, my son told me the other day that he was a werewolf. So, I'm just like, okay, stay away from me. Don't try to bite me.
He knows,
I've got a silver bullet. Oh,
right,
man,
yeah.
this kid. Oh, yes. Matuba says lunatics. Right. Isn't that where lunatic comes from? Is from the moon as the base. So there you go.
I like that.
All right. What else is going on in your world, Jason, that people might be able to follow you on or see what you're doing? I know you said you're working on some more writings.
I'm working on, my own pilot on the side. I still can't say what television show I'm working on.
Yeah, I know. That's the rough thing, right?
I've been on the show since.
But you're in a writer's room.
I'm in the
writer's room, so that's good.
Yeah.
But you've just finished Jupiter Jet?
We're actually finishing it. We're almost done writing it. The Jupiter Jet 2. And I don't know. I'm kind of debating what the next thing's going to be, what the next script's going to be. It might be another novel. Yeah. So.
And people can follow you.
Oh yeah, is this the plugs? Sorry.
Yeah, this is the plug section.
You can tell how out of touch I am with this.
Yeah.
You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Jawin, JAWIIN. And if you want to buy any Jupiter Jet or my book or Super Soldiers, JasonInman.com. It's a great thing to read when you're at home.
Yeah.
There you go. And Ashley, what about you? What are you working on or right now or?
Same.
Everybody hire Ashley. Oh yeah, I forgot. How did your play end up? The last performance of your play that all went well, right? That was like a week or so ago.
Our second weekend went really well.
It was huge.
So it went really well. I got some nice flowers from some friends.
Oh, nice.
And now who knows if we'll be doing the second one because the theater shut down.
True.
Yeah.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Ashley V. Robinson. The V is very important. You can find Geek History Lesson with Jason and I in the Major Spoilers podcast feed.
This week is the retrospective on the Watchmen movie.
That's next week.
Oh, is
That's
that wrong?
next week. This
This week
week
is
was the
John
300th
Wick.
is John Wick.
You know, when I
We
said
haven't announced that yet. So.
when I say this week, I meant
Thanks.
Monday. Our episodes always come out on Monday.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But we just crossed
All
300
right.
episodes, which compared to Major Spoilers is
Drop
I mean,
Look,
that's a big milestone. That is a big milestone. Our
How
Legion
close are you guys
Clubhouse
to 1,000?
episode. We are at 867 or something.
By the way,
866, 867.
I tell Ashley all the time that one of my favorite periods in Major Spoilers history was when you guys did the 2 episodes a week, because that's when I was driving everywhere across Oklahoma, and having those 2 episodes made such a difference.
Oh yeah, well, we kind of do still have 2 episodes for the Major Spoilers podcast, right? It's called the Major Spoilers pre-show.
Yeah.
And when people sign up right here, patreon.com/Major Spoilers, you get anywhere from 15 to 30 plus minutes of bonus content each week in your feed, just for you when you become a silver level member at patreon.com/Major Spoilers. So thank you everybody for that. We're getting very close to our next goal, which is Critical Hit 2 weeks early. And then I think the goal after that is Major Spoilers podcast live right here on our Twitch channel. And then the goal right after that is to hire somebody to come in and do a lot of the switching and prep show stuff so that we can make the Major Spoilers podcast and all the other Twitch streams that we do so awesome. So more of you who join up for $5 a month, the better.
If you like watching people eat, you're going to love me live on the Major Spoilers podcast.
Yep, and a lot of me walking through the background being like, are you still doing this?
Well, Jason and Ashley, thank you guys so much for being on the show this week. And Jason, I know is a kind of a surprise moment for you, but thanks for hanging out with us.
Thank you for having me, and always thank you for the support, and thank you for letting me drop in on any podcast. I might be here next Friday, guys.
Yeah, who knows?
That's fine too. That's totally fine too. And everybody else, thank you for showing up in the room this week. I know you're probably all sick and tired of about talking about the coronavirus at this point, but we did talk about how it affects the entertainment industry, which does affect your ability to go watch your favorite streaming shows, to go to the movie theater, your TV shows, your comic book conventions. Oh, by the way, I will not be going to Planet Comic-Con this week. That's the other thing that I forgot to talk about.
Is it this weekend?
It was supposed to be this weekend.
Okay.
No, not this weekend. Next weekend.
Okay.
I got an email first thing on was it Tuesday morning, inviting me to the show to be on a panel about podcasting. And then I was like, I don't know if Planet Comic-Con is still going to go on. And they kept saying, yes, we're going to do it. Yes, we're going to do it. So I responded back to the person, yes, I'll fill you out some more information tomorrow so that you have the full information. And I was like, my wife and I had a big, long conversation about whether I should go or not, just because it's going to be a lot of people. And in fact, that all the other shows were canceling meant that maybe more people were going to come down. And then Thursday afternoon, right after the universities made their announcement, Planet Comic-Con made their announcement. And I was kind of like, whew, now I don't have to worry about that. So, no, I will not be at Planet Comic-Con this upcoming next weekend. But if it gets rescheduled, and that's another big topic, if it gets rescheduled, then I'm hoping that they will invite me back to be on that panel. So there you go. So hopefully that keeps you informed. I don't think we went too far out of the way. We weren't doing mass speculation or crazy stupid things like trying to sell you colloidal silver or something as a cure for the coronavirus.
Sake, do not put silver inside your body. For goodness,
especially if you're a werewolf. Don't do it if you're a werewolf.
But if you do want a $300 bidet, go to majorspoilers.com, click on that Amazon link, and a little bit comes back to them.
All right, you guys have a great weekend, and we will talk with you soon. Whoops. You guys are so awesomes. What are you guys doing? Look at all the Codys there. All you people still hanging out in the chat. Oh, yeah. Hey, I didn't see Kevin 11. Did Kevin 11 not show up today? Where the heck was Kevin 11? Kevin 11's usually really good about pointing everybody to that stuff. Ah, don't touch my face, Skull Brian. Or Scroll Brian. Good to see you there, man. Scroll Brian, the OG Major Spoilers podcaster. Hey, Darth. Ah, good that you came into the live stream. First time. Hopefully you can do it another time. We will be back on Saturday for even more live stream action. I'm going to test out another game, see if it's something that I want to play, and if I want to play it on the stream. If not, we'll just roll back to Red Dead or Cosmic Odyssey or whatever it is. Oh, thank you, Marshall. I hope you guys had a good time. Hope you found that enjoyable and entertaining. I know, you, again, like I said, you guys are probably tired of that talk, but hopefully it was entertaining. Oh, and look, the credits already finished. All those awesome people. Thank you so much. We gotta go!